Good morning, everybody. It is the crack of dawn on a 95-degree 4th of July here in North Georgia. And I'm out here with Hunter.
What's up?
And we're getting ready to hike for hopefully rattlesnakes of some kind this morning. So the big goal today is to find a timber rattlesnake at a spot Hunter and I have been trying to find one for a couple years now. And we've seen sheds. We know they're here. We've seen a shed right where we are right now, so hopefully we'll be able to turn one up today. Oh, we're doing this again, I see. Another gigantic rattlesnake shed. Holy cow. Man, I'm getting really tired of finding big timber sheds here and not seeing a timber. That is nuts. Huge timber shed. Once again, that's 2 trips in a row out here, or 2 years in a row. Hunter and I have seen a crazy big shed and no timber. We still got time though. That's pretty gnarly. Yellow jacket's eating a spider. Look at him. All right, guys, we're cruising. Hunter, what's the first snake of the night?
Brown snake.
Brown snake. I'm gonna go with copperhead. We'll see if we even get a first snake of the night. All right, we've got a live snake. A nice little dusty copperhead. We'll get him out of the road and hope that this isn't the only thing we see. Decent start, much better than the last time we night cruised, so I'll take it. We'll just use the hunter hook to usher him this direction. No, yes, come this way. Not towards my feet though. That way. Yeah, there you go. Well, it's midnight and we just cruised a nice little corn snake. Look at that. It's nothing crazy, but it'll do. We've had a very slow night and a very slow couple of days. I've actually been up here for a while. Oh! He did it. He gave me a little tiny weak bite. Well, I think this is only the second live snake of the night. We've seen a couple of DORs, but it's midnight, and it took us until now to find our second snake after that copperhead. Kind of ridiculous, but corn snakes are always a solid find, and I think this is one of the first ones I've seen in this part of the state. I've seen a few, but not many. I know a lot of the herpers who watch these videos probably know this, but if you're not well acquainted with the art of field herping, it is a very boom or bust hobby. So a lot of the nights that I go out, you guys don't even see because nothing eventful happens. You only see the good tip of the iceberg that is field herping on this channel. And that's not because I'm trying to be disingenuous. It's because it's not fun to watch me get skunked. So you guys only see outings where I find snakes. All right, this is getting weird. Next pass, another tiny corn snake. Almost looks identical. The other one had a little scar on his head. So it's definitely a different snake, but it is in the exact same spot. It's the same size, and it's got a different scar right there. So it's definitely a different snake. That is so weird. I mean, we've gone all night without seeing hardly anything, and then suddenly back-to-back corn snakes. So maybe we're in a nice little pocket of activity. Maybe we'll see more. Who knows? Probably not, though. Well, this has been a very weird night of cruising, but, I mean, snakes are snakes. I won't complain about it. And corns are always a welcome find, so we will scoot this guy off the road in the direction he was heading and may or may not see another snake or two. We'll keep trying for at least a little bit. All right, little dude, stay out of the road. There's a lot of 4th of July traffic tonight. And a few minutes later on a different road, we have a little earth snake. The after midnight window is real tonight. That is awesome. But we see plenty of these, so just a quick scoot out of the road and we'll keep moving. All right, guys, well, I'm on my way home from North Georgia and actually just cruised this guy in the rain. A very pretty rat snake that looks like he has actually just had a meal. I don't know what he is doing right now to avoid me, I guess, picking him up, but that is a really gorgeous snake. And whatever he's eating, he's clearly worried about impeding his movement. So we're gonna get this guy out of the road before he regurgitates and probably call it a day here, but nice little incidental find in between outings. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the creek we've chosen to walk today. I'm actually a little bit disappointed in the fact that we got so much rain overnight and yesterday because the creek level is up so high it's going to make it a little bit of a pain to walk today. As you can see, the water level is moderately high and the clarity of the water is actually really poor, so I'm not going to be able to see much in the actual creek today. So we might be mostly walking the banks, hoping to see cottonmouths, king snakes. I think the odds of seeing any turtles today is probably kind of low because of the turbidity But with that being said, I'm hoping that this moisture that we've had recently will actually make the snakes a little bit more active, and hopefully we'll see some stuff out crawling around this morning. So I want to get to walking, and hopefully the critters will be out. Well, that is a very weird start to the day. I'm not even sure what that is. So I think this is just a really crazy looking and potentially very, very old striped mud turtle, which is a really cool find anyways in this part of Georgia. But to see one that's just this weird looking, I mean, its shell is almost completely bleached for one reason or another. It's just a very weird looking turtle. And hopefully we'll be able to get a look at it coming out of its shell. But you can kind of see there's a lot of patterning on the face, which a normal eastern mud turtle would probably not have. Plus, we are in textbook striped mud turtle habitat, floodplain of Large Creek, at least in this part of the state. That's what they like to use. Man, that's a cool turtle. I really wish it would come out of its shell. But even if it doesn't, just that the shell itself is just very weird and unique looking. Really, really cool first find of the day. Check out the leech on this thing. I don't know if that's just a juvenile turtle leech or what, but I've never seen one like it. Definitely does not seem like this turtle is going to give us a good look at it though, so we'll just put it back into this puddle and keep on moving. Maybe we'll see another one. I know it might not look like much, but that striped mud turtle is a really good find. Honestly, probably the single rarest turtle in this area, other than maybe Barber's Map turtles, but really cool habitat and really cool turtle. The only thing we've seen so far though, and hopefully that'll change. This is some really good cottonmouth habitat too, so hopefully we'll at least see a few of those. It's not a striped neck. There's a nice loggerhead. The main creek is right there, so it's not terribly surprising that he's over here, but I haven't seen a ton of loggerheads at this spot. It's definitely better mud turtle habitat. A lot of sluggish floodplain type stuff, but very nice. Another very cool little turtle, but these guys are a lot more common, so I'll let him go. And I would not be too surprised if we do see a couple more of these. It's still really dark in the woods because of how early it is, but here's our next find and third turtle species of the day. Little eastern box turtle in 3 pixels because it's so dark in the forest. It's been half decent turtle diversity in numbers so far, but no snakes yet. There's another box turtle. Hello. You're pretty. Nice yellow one. There is all manner of weird floppy mushrooms appearing after this rain. Look at that thing. There's another one. Oh, there's a frog. This one looks like clear jelly almost. Also very floppy. There's a little worm snake I just flipped under a very, very tiny little scrap of tin here. Actually not sure. This might be the first worm snake I've actually found at this spot, so decently neat and always nice to flip something in July. It's not a great month for tin flipping, so just let him scoot back. Good afternoon, everybody. It is a very, very hot and humid summer afternoon here in Metro Atlanta. We're gonna be doing some creek walking and general suburban exploring tonight in search of reptiles and amphibians. We got Tommy Boy back there, and Greg is gonna meet us here in a little bit. And we're gonna walk creeks and walk swamp late into the night tonight and hopefully see some snakes and turtles, so let's get to it. Due to the inconvenient, extremely loud music playing right next to us, I'll have to voice over these next few clips. But first turtle in hand of the night, a nice little stinkpot or common musk turtle. These guys have actually been fairly uncommon this year. This is one of the only ones we've seen that I can remember. Not long after the musk turtle, I looked down at my feet and spotted a kingsnake sitting out after dark. This was a really weird thing to see. Kingsnakes are not super common in this area. In fact, this is only like the 4th or 5th I've ever seen, and I spent a lot of time out here. He was unfortunately a little bit skinny, definitely not a very healthy kingsnake, but still very cool to see. Like I said, not very common in this area, so this is actually one of the only ones I've found. And it was a really pretty snake too, just unfortunately a little bit on the thin side. While I was taking pictures of the kingsnake, Thomas found this cute little possum hanging out nearby. Always cool to see these guys up close. And then the inevitable happened. We found a couple of cottonmouths swimming around in the creek. It was actually really cool to just see these guys swimming around like this. This one swam right over to where Thomas was hanging out. As you can see, his life was in immediate danger and he was terrified. We took a few quick photos of this guy and left him alone as usual. A little bit past the first cottonmouth, we spotted the second cottonmouth doing the same thing. It was actually really funny just watching this thing swim around while like super loud popular music blared in the background only a few feet away. Unfortunately, I would get copyright striked if I let that play, so that's why I'm doing the voiceover. Next up, Thomas spotted this nice little midland water snake swimming around right upstream from the cottonmouth. There was just a lot of snake activity in this section of the creek, which was a pretty good omen for how the rest of the night would go. We ended up seeing a lot of water snakes, which is always nice, considering it seems like they have been declining quite a bit over the last few years. Next turtle of the night was a nice adult male slider, and as usual, this guy was pretty melanistic like a lot of the other adult males. We just took a quick photo and let him slip back into the creek. A little bit further upstream, I looked down and spotted this little brown snake just squiggling along in the grass. Weirdly enough, he was in shed, so we took a quick shot and let him go too. And then we headed upstream to meet Greg. Alright, Greg is here, and we've got a, whoa! Here it is. Oh my god. Alright, well I think we can finally free ourselves from doing voiceovers because we're far enough from the incredibly loud music that I can actually narrate. But that is, I mean, it's such a big water snake, it's heavy to hold with my arm. That is nuts. That is such a just comically large midland water snake though. Really cool. Alright, we'll let this girl go. She is gigantic. I doubt we'll see a bigger Nerodia than that tonight, but I'd like to be wrong. Alright, here's our first loggerhead of the night. I'm sure we'll see at least a few more of these, if not a ton more, depending on how active they are. But there's Greg. Greg, loggerhead, Thomas. Alright, there's our first brown water snake of the night. You probably can't hear me super well because of the flowing water, but another species for the list. It's been very snaky so far. Very snaky and not terribly turtley. Check that guy out. A really cool looking moth. Whoop, the tree's coming after me. All right, there we have our first and probably only barking tree frog of the night. Not the most colorful one, but he's got some really interesting pattern. This guy's coloring up a little bit. Very, very cool. Definitely the coolest tree frog we have in Metro Atlanta. There's a midland water snake sticking his head out of a hole. Whoop. All right, next turtle of the night. It's been a while. Got a nice river cooter. Look at him. Very pretty, as always. It's a Luna moth, too. Decent night for moths. Yeah, that's the best look we're going to get, but there's our first and probably only rough green snake of the night. Way up there at the top. Hey, here's another barker. Maybe not quite as pretty as the first. There's a little midland water snake out and about. It's after midnight now, so we're probably going to be wrapping up decently soon. But not really a great turtle night. Lots of snakes, though. All right, here's another Nerodia, right past the last one. He's getting a little bit huffy with me. There he goes. There's a lower green snake. We can actually reach this one, so I'm going to get a quick photo and then we'll grab him. All right, well, there we go. At long last. The one of two snakes that we would expect to see in this area that we haven't seen tonight. The other being the queen snake. Those guys are pretty common in this area, and I would have expected to see one tonight, but we haven't. So we got most of the usual suspects and traded out our queen snake for a king snake, which I will not complain about. There's another green snake right past the first or the second one. Very, very low off the ground, a small guy. I'll try to get a little bit closer to this one here in a second. All right, here's the little guy next to the big guy. You can see a little reference. He's gonna climb onto me now. My phone just will not focus on these snakes. All right, we'll let this little guy go. A couple of green snakes to potentially end the night. We're almost back to the car. A 3-line salamander. That's a nice little addition to the diversity tonight, and actually not really something I see here very often unless I'm night shining the creek.
Ambiguously patterned.
There he goes. Doesn't have any tail. Well, there we go. The last minute snapping turtle. And we are with Greg tonight, so we're gonna actually add this guy to Greg's study, mark him, measure him, put him back in the creek. But a juvenile alligator snapping turtle, a very cool size. I'm not sure I've ever seen one this size before. All right, guys, we were taking some quick shots of this guy, and then we're gonna measure him, process and mark him, and we'll put him back. But always high on the list of things we hope to see. And we've been pretty lucky with them so far this year. We've seen them almost every time we've been in their habitat for an extended period of time. I definitely cannot complain about how tonight went. A couple of really good snakes, a couple of really good turtles, and just a lot of life and abundance in these waterways. It's time to do science. We're using the giant calipers to measure the little guy.
It's overkill.
All right, guys, how much does he weigh?
75 pounds.
Greg guessed a quarter. I'm gonna guess 0.35 pounds into the bag. Now it's reading 0.4.
0.4 was more consistent the last time, so I'm just gonna go with 0.4.
There he goes. Oh, he came back for Noah.
He really wants to bite me.
Go back into the creek, buddy.
There he goes. We've got a weird snake here. It's something we don't really expect to see while night shining a creek. A nice eastern garter snake, just chilling, sleeping in the bushes here. It has been a great night. Lots of snakes, a few turtles, including one snapper. Just lots of life to be seen as always while swamp walking. It's definitely a pinnacle of summertime in the south. All right, everybody. Well, it was a pretty fantastic night, and I'm currently on my way home. It's like 3 a.m. right now. But it was a good time. We had a lot of diversity tonight, good numbers of snakes, decent numbers of turtles, but really, I'm surprised we didn't see more in the turtle department. The snakes kind of stole the show until we found that snapper there at the end. But considering it's as hot as it's going to get all year, I think, and pretty dang dry right now, I cannot complain about seeing that many herps. The creek walking night shining game has been pretty strong recently, so we'll probably be doing quite a bit more of that until it cools off just a little bit, and then we'll be back to hiking and doing some road cruising. I'm actually cruising right now. I decided to do a pass before headed home. But that being said, I am going to wrap this one up here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.